influence culture has over our lives, the influence culture has or lack thereof, what those what that life is like. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about on today's ride. And nicely, I have put down my stick it notes. I don't know, stick notes, note stickers. I don't know what these are called. What are these called? Post-its. I've put down just a couple of points that we can talk about. Things that I've experienced, some that I've not experienced. Let's talk about it on today's ride with Lara. Okay, let's do it. Hello, LinPRimpers. Welcome back to another episode of Lara teaches LinPRinP. I'm a Nigerian American lifestyle blogger who loves living a peaceful life, and I love talking about situations we might find ourselves in that need peaceful endings. There was a video going around towards the end of last year about the Nigerian lady, I believe she was about 25 years old, that called the cops on her mom. And, it just prompted me to want to talk about this because this is definitely an issue that needs to be spoken about, right? And in talking about these things, I think it becomes very important for people that are living here in America or living abroad, living away from their home countries. It gives them an idea of why some people are behaving the way they are behaving. Basically, I like how Summer Aku vlogs. I like how she broke it down. Our channels are kind of similar in terms of bringing peace to situations that definitely have caused a lot of chaos. I just don't do it every day like Summer does. I have a full-time job. I honestly don't know how she does it. I have a full-time job. I have 4 kids under the age of 10 years. And I think Summer's kids are probably old. They're old enough to take care of themselves. So I feel like she has some time to do like daily videos. I don't have time to do daily videos. As you can tell, I'm just going home from work right now. And, unfortunately, I think 2024 is going to be just, maybe rides, ride with me videos. Because there's definitely no way I'm going to be doing this at home when I'm supposed to be sleeping. There are times you see me that I'll be doing video when I'm supposed to be sleeping, and I'll let you know that I'm supposed to be sleeping, but I'm recording. And the easy part is actually to record. You still have to sit down and edit, and so hopefully when the kids go back to school, I'll be able to have a little bit more time to edit the videos. I have like videos that I've recorded now, no time to edit it and upload. So so I like how Summer Aku broke down that video. I'll probably put a link somewhere, and it just prompted me to for this year to actually talk about situations we are actually facing and how we can live peaceful lives, depending on the type of situation that you are faced. You guys, I forgot I had to work on the first day of the year. I got to work late. First day of the year. And culturally, as a Yoruba girl, the first day of the year is supposed to be perfect. First day of the year is supposed to be perfect. Okay? Whatever you do right on the first of the year, you're going to do right for the rest of the year. And whatever you do wrong for the first of the year, you're going to do wrong for the rest of the year. So guys, tell me how I did not know I was supposed to work yesterday. I was on my bed sleeping, and my job called me. Lara, you're supposed to be at work. And I was like, oh, come on. This is the 3rd time I'm getting sick. My throat is hurting. I just got off. The other, about 3-4 weeks ago, I lost my voice, and then I got it back. And then I started feeling feverish. Someone told me I sound like Jamaican. I started feeling feverish. I was feeling feverish, and I was generalized. I couldn't walk. I was very weak. And then now, sore throat all of a sudden, the 31st into the 1st, sore throat. I'm like, come on, I can't get a break. And now on top of that, I got to work late yesterday. So per culture, Guess who's going to be going to work late for the rest of the year? Not me. Because culturally, we have a lot to learn. Number one thing that has always been my number one, I'm always butting heads with Nigerian proverbs, Yoruba proverbs. I'll give you some examples. Some examples, I'm like, these proverbs are not do or die, okay? Just because you guys know about it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. So there's a lot of learning that needs to happen culturally, especially with growing in this 20th century. A lot is changing, a lot is happening. And if you are stuck in the cultural stage, yes, I understand culture is very important. One, you don't want to lose culture of respect, right? You're not going to grow up and start disrespecting people. That's baseline value that you should have. Respect your elders. I don't care which community you are in. That is not going to be tolerated or taken. Unfortunately, one thing that I've noticed is America doesn't have any culture. So you cannot compare a cultural community to benefit you in the long run, right? So especially coming from an African background, Haitian background, the islands, Jamaican, all these other countries that have those African qualities behind it, it's very hard for children coming from first generation, second generation African people coming to America, and then you expect that things are not going to be different. They're going to be different from the 100% white Caucasian a cultural community. Is going to be very different, right? So there are things that you will see differently, you will be treated differently, you're going to grow up differently, unfortunately, right? But let me go back to my points. In terms of comparison, we are going to compare you. You are going to be compared to your siblings. You're going to be compared to your siblings. You are going to be compared to your siblings. Do I do it? Yes, I do it. You're going to be compared to your siblings. I've compared my children, but I always catch myself not to compare. I've always caught myself not to compare, especially I have twins, boy, girl. So that's even like double fold, right? They are twins, but they are one is male, one is female. So I can't even compare. But sometimes I find myself comparing. Why can't you be like Amani? Amani is getting all A's. And then Amani doesn't get A's. And then Maya gets the A's. And I'm like, why can't you be like Maya? Maya's getting A's. And yeah, I always catch myself like, these are two individuals. These are two totally different people. But if you come from an African home, just expect it. You are going to be compared to your siblings. Does that mean that there's no love, that your parents don't love you? Absolutely not. They love you. They want the best for you. Okay? That's number one. You are going to be compared to your siblings, but don't let that cause issue. Don't let that cause a big enough issue that is going to prevent you from talking to your parents, that's going to prevent you from talking to your siblings, that's going to prevent you from living your life, that's going to delay you from living your life. Okay? Life is not that serious. Am I saying don't take your parents seriously? To some extent, don't take them too seriously concerning being compared to your siblings. You can say, Mom, I don't like it. If it happens again, just say, yeah, Mom, whatever. Not like that, but don't take it to heart. Number 2, you will be expected to do certain things at certain ages. I have to go home now. I think you can see me a little bit now. I have to use the felicities. I have to use the facilities. I have to use the felicities. Where did that come from? Okay, so number 2. At certain ages, you will be expected to accomplish certain things. even when you were not, even when you have not been prepared for it, you will be expected to accomplish certain things at certain ages. So, you will be hearing African parents telling you, no boyfriend. When you're in school, no boyfriend. Finish your studies, finish your studies. But then when you get to 25, 26, 27, 28, and they don't see any guy, then they will tell you, I want a husband. Where is your husband? I want grandchildren. Then they'll start asking for grandchildren. But then they forget that they've told you no boyfriend until marriage. So now as an individual, you're like conflicted. You are conflicted, like, okay, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? So at a certain age, when you're supposed to have a job and be taking care of your parents, that's another thing. You're supposed to take care of your parents as African. African parents expect you to take care of them when you grow up and you start making money. You're supposed to make provisions for them. Okay? So that's number two. Number two, you're going to be expected to do some certain things at certain ages. When that is not seen, when you are not showing that, okay, let's say at 21, you just finished college. Let's say you finished college 21, 22. You're supposed to have a job, supposed to be you're supposed to be bringing money home. When they see that is not happening, they start getting nervous. And I'm talking about this is in Africa. They start getting nervous, like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Why is this boy not working? Why is he not making money? Why is this girl not working? Why is she not making money? They start getting nervous. What did we do? What have we not done right? And they start putting blames on themselves that, oh, it's our fault. We have not done something right. That's why this child is not being successful now. Regardless of what's going on economically, regardless of what's going on in the community, in the country, they still want their child to be successful, and you're supposed to make things happen. That's another thing. And then when it's time for marriage is definitely a big one. Job and marriage. Marriage is definitely a big one for the girls, for the ladies, right? For the men, they can marry at 120. That's fine. But still, it's a problem for men. Let's say, okay, you're entering 35. You're in your 30s, you're in your late 30s, and you have not brought any girlfriend home or things like that. They start getting nervous. Now, for women, when you're getting in your late 20s, they start singing in your ear. All right, where's the boyfriend? We need grandchildren. They start singing it in your ear. We need grandchildren. We need grandchildren. And I'm talking about Africa. Now, here where, everything is different, there's no culture. If your parents are still the typical African parents, you will get this. Now, where the problem comes is your Caucasian counterparts. Let's say, unfortunately, you grew up here. I say unfortunately because your everything is changed. Everything is different. Now, this is where the cultural punches start coming. Your parents are looking at you as an African. You don't see yourself as an African. I don't care how yes, you're going to Nigeria, or maybe you have not gone to Nigeria before, or you've not gone to your African country before. You were born here, and maybe you went to your country one time, and you don't see yourself as 100% African. This is where the punches come in. You see your Caucasian counterparts, you see your American counterparts not getting married at 40, and you are reaching 38, and your parents are like, we need grandchildren. And you are screaming at your parents like, ma, please leave me alone. And it's becoming an issue. It's becoming a big issue. And this is where things start happening. You feel like your parents are badgering you. They want you to do this. They want you to accomplish this at a certain time. This is where the cultural boosts start coming in. Okay? So yes, at a certain age, you'll be expected. And this is to live a peaceful life, because at the end of the day, you want to live peacefully with your parents, you want to live peacefully with your siblings, you want to live peacefully with yourself, right? This is where it becomes very important for you to just say, yes, mommy, I heard you. Yes, daddy, I heard you. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Don't fight your parents. Fighting will just make your bridge longer, okay? Fighting or arguing, or is just going to make a small issue, is going to make a big pothole of mess. So don't fight with them. Try to understand, try to reason with them, explain to them, try to understand where they're coming from, and explain to them what you're trying to do, the goals you're trying to accomplish, that's not making them see what they want to see in you, right? The third thing that I wanted to say is you will be reminded of your mistakes. I don't know, maybe it's my family, but Africans tend to, maybe I shouldn't say Africans, but let me talk about my own family. You will be reminded of your mistakes over and over and over again. And they are reminding you of your mistakes. This is how I explain it to myself. They are reminding you of your mistakes so you don't make the type of mistakes anymore. So when you make a new mistake, which is actually good, we are supposed to make new mistakes. Don't make the same one over and over again. Make new mistakes, because that's the way you're going to grow. Unfortunately, you will be reminded about those mistakes over and over and over again, not because they don't love you, but because they want to make sure that you're not making the same mistakes over and over again. In terms of men when they're dating, or women when you're dating, I'm sure you've listened to a lot of guys saying, be careful of the women you're picking. If you are picking the same type of women over and over again, then you're making the same mistakes over and over again. You need to sit down and reevaluate yourself. If the same thing goes with the guy, if the same thing goes for the women, if you're picking the same type of men over and over, then you're wasting time, and you're wasting time, and you're wasting time. So that's why your parents are there. They've lived in this world before you. That's why they're there to explain to you, like, what are you doing? Sometimes they have to knock some sense in your head. Don't you see the mistakes you're making? And that's why they are there to remind you. They love you. An outsider is never going to love you like your parents do. Hopefully you have good parents that can show you that you're making the same mistakes over and over. And then you have to sit down and think about it. That's why it's very important not to fight your parents, because if you are fighting them, they are supposed to be your eyes to see what you might not be seeing, right? So don't fight them. Sit with them, talk with them, figure out, okay, I understand what you're saying. Can you see it from my point of view? Then they will kind of understand where you're coming from as well. Don't just discard them, because what that will do is cause a bigger problem later, and it will be so hard. And this is what the devil is doing right now. And you might not think it's the devil. You might think, oh, I know it all. You are Africans. You don't know America. You don't know what's going on. There's a lot of things that you as a person don't know about life that they know from experience. And unfortunately, there's a lot that our parents don't know because of where they're coming from as well. So that's why it's very important to sit down together, put down your differences, lay them on the table and figure it out together so that you can move forward in a positive manner, right? I hope I have not said too much, and I hope I have not confused you. This is my take on living a peaceful life in terms of cultural differences. There's so many angles that I could have come about this, but we're talking about just those 3 points for today. So my remedy, I don't want this video to be longer than 30 minutes, is ignore. I'm not saying ignore your parents, just ignore. Lara, you are not married. What are you doing? Yes, mommy, I've heard you. I'll get married as soon as possible. That's it. Leave it at that. Okay? Don't let it get to you. Ignore, ignore, ignore. Number 2, do you, do you, do you. And I'm saying do you if you already have a plan. If you don't have a plan, definitely don't ignore. Listen, listen, listen. But if you have a plan that you know and you are focused on that plan, then definitely do you. Number 3, develop a thick skin. That is one thing Americans don't have. They don't have thick skin. They cannot take criticism. They cannot take ideas. They cannot take they cannot take they cannot take criticism. But yeah, those 3 things. My camera is telling me I'm done, so I'm going to end it right here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and you see me in my next one. You see me in my next one. See me in my next one. You see me in my next one. Stay blessed. Bye.